I'm Shay Russell for mining.com.au, and today I'm speaking with Jared Lazerson, the CEO of North Bay Resources. Jared, it's great to see you. How are you?
Doing very well. How about yourself?
Very well. I notice we've got a little bit of a different climate happening between the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere right now. It's great to have you on this morning because there's some very exciting things happening with North Bay Resources. First and foremost, let's talk about your flagship mine and what you're planning to do with it.
Sure. Well, the flagship property really is our Bishop, California-based gold mill. We acquired that shortly after I took over the company as CEO about a year ago, a little less. And that's a 100-ton per day gold mill. It has never produced. So, although it was permitted about 4 years ago, the former company had a major silver discovery up north in the Yukon and focused on that. So it's as new condition. We've ramped that up and we've coupled that with a project up in Canada, the Fran Gold property. It's had about 55,000 feet of drilling done, about 20 million invested. It's a known gold deposit that I was involved with for a while. We went ahead and joint ventured that. And now, as a result of previous work on Fran, there is fairly large stockpiles there of gold. By assay, that was grading 1.2 to 2.2 ounces per ton. We sent a bulk sample to our Met lab. That came in at zero point 0.9. So we've gone ahead and shipped 120 tons. It's about 6 tractor trailer loads to the mill. It's stockpiled at the mill. And about 3 weeks ago, we started implementing the processing and optimizing the mill. We've started producing some gold, and we're just going to continue to get through this shipment and then re-up ideally next month. It's a bit rough up north, some footage of snow. I was there in December for the shipment, but we are able to open the road. Up in Canada, people are used to a lot of snow and weather and so forth, so not a big deal. Just takes a little more time, energy, and a couple of bucks more. But this is high grade material. And yeah, it's really all centered around the gold mill. I think it's one of 4 permitted mills in the state of California.
I wouldn't mind just emphasizing how unique this company is because obviously you've got access to a deposit on a mill. So this is quite a great place to be with a rising gold price. How do you plan to expand these operations?
Well, it's interesting you say that. So, although it's winter right now in even in California, Northern California does get weather because of the mountains in the Lake Tahoe area. But there are a tremendous number of small past producers. This was the home of the 1849, and then later there was also an 1880s gold rush there. So many small mines and past producers. So we've partnered or otherwise in the process of acquiring a number of mines in that area. Um, these are known past producing gold projects. There are many of them. We just happen to choose a couple that fit our profile. But we will expand locally as well. Obviously, we're looking in Nevada. The mill is right on the border of Nevada. There are a number of projects in Nevada. Again, there's really a sweet spot in the market for small past producers in terms of gold. Things that are way too small for majors. I mean, you have to have perspective. The mill is you know. The mill is set up for 100 tons per day. We might be able to go a little more, but just ballpark at 100 tons per day. I mean, you have to compare this with a standard mine, 50,000 tons per day. I mean, so what a proper mine, a major would do in a day, we're doing less than in a year. So again, we don't need there are these hundreds, if not thousands, of small deposits that we can access, acquire. And we're just moving ahead with that. These are existing mines. They may need to re-up on permitting or might need a couple of bucks. But really, like you said, the key is having a permanent mill. And then, once we get into more serious cash flow, we can look at expanding the mill strategically. We're also looking at one other site in Sierra County, a brownfield site that was a significant milling operation that, again, needs a little re-up on permitting, but they're very happy for us to step in and take ownership of that. So I think step by step, but the strategic path is clear and it's obvious. And as you said, really the thing that drives this more than anything is price of gold. But really, it's price of gold coupled with very small footprint, low impact, meaning low turnaround time in terms of permitting, environmental, logistics. ramp up and really being able to get to market fairly quickly. That's kind of the key. So the gold price, but also just being small and nimble and be able to move quickly. And again, logistics, even if you're moving 100 tons per day, that's still, 5, 6 tractor trailer loads. It's not a small undertaking. So again, to move to 500 tons per day, which would really be the kind of the 2-year goal. It's a lot about logistics and connecting all these dots, but we're getting there and we're getting there quick. So yeah, it's good times right now.
It is great to hear about the long term plans, but what can we expect news flow wise from North Bay Resources in the next couple of months?
Sure. Well, I mean, this is the turn of the tide. So we are in production. We will be doing refinery shipments. We've already got a refinery agreement in place. Refinery shipments, caution to say this, but momentarily, we'd expect shipments before the end of the month, if not in the next few days here. And that will ramp up. It'll be smaller. We'll see how that goes. There are some specifications, but they're relatively low. This refinery that we're working with, there's no minimum. The cutoff in terms of grade is relatively low. Obviously cash flow. So this quarter, cash flow, produce some ounces, and then really it becomes a more standard production story and just kind of ramp from there. So initially cash flow, then significantly increase the cash flow, and then as well M&A activity and development activity, either exploration or through M&A, to acquire more ounces in the ground and just ramp our existing projects up. So it becomes a very kind of simple story. This is not an exploration story. It's not a major story. We're not talking billions and billions, but really targeting that tens of millions in cash flow over the next 6 to 12 months.
Jared, this is a fantastic opportunity. Not only are you in gold, but you are in production. Thank you so much for sharing your story here today, and I look forward to hearing more about this. Thank you for being here.
Great. Thanks so much, Shay.